What do you call Lord Vader now that he's got his own raid he's featured in? Still worthless. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails, aka Lord Failure Part 2. Guys, there's been a new raid announced, and it sounds pretty cool. We've got a new character, I can't spit it out, that seems pretty cool. A lot of new stuff that seem pretty cool. But you know, the coolest ones of them all are my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank you for the bottom of my heart. I don't know why I sounded so confused there, but truly, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support. And guys, if you want to support this channel for free, please mount the algorithm. Unlike the way Lord Vader is trying to do, he's mounting incorrectly, inaccurately even. Let's get to it, folks. So this new update from CG is you know, a lot of what we wanted. Actually, we wanted new information on the raid. We wanted information on the new era. We wanted new information on the new legendary character, and they delivered. For the most part, they did give us all the things we wanted, and we'll get into the details here. So there's 6 new marquee characters for this new era. That's the next like 3 months in the, you know, in this game. That we'll get 6 new characters plus a new journey guide character, which happens to be Mace Windu, which is great. He seems cool. I mean, Mace was pretty important on the Jedi Council. He was the character. The version that we have of him is dated. It's an old character. It was I think a launch character. I think he came out. I think he's had like 3 different reworks. A very valuable, good character right now, but I think he deserves a legendary. That's fine. We're also getting 4 dark side clones and 2 Jedi Vanguard. And I would guess that Mace is going to be a Jedi Vanguard, which means we'll probably have a Jedi Vanguard of some sort that's already on our roster. I don't know who that's going to be. Maybe Shock T, maybe someone else. But it's a pretty worthless list, honestly, guys. A lot of pretty dumb characters on there, so I don't think it's worth speculating on yet. But this Apo character, he looks cool, I guess. He looks nice. There he is. Hey, whoa, look at him. There he is. He's got an arrow on his helmet pointing at himself. That's him. It's Apo, guys. So Lord Vader is getting a new squad. The CG says that 4 new Darkside clone troopers are designed to thrive together under Lord Vader's leadership. So that's cool. It looks like he's getting a new squad, which he kind of needed. I mean, Maul didn't really make that much sense as a lifter unit. He was actually scheming to kill Anakin in the final Clone Wars season, so that's canon. That actually happened. He doesn't even know who Anakin is. He's just like, oh yeah, I just know that he's going to be the new Sith apprentice, so I'm gonna murder him. And that's fine. That's very Maul of him. That's, you know, that's to be expected. What's not to be expected is that Maul would then accept a subservient role and become the lifter unit for said unknown person he was intending to murder. It made very little sense. It's fine if it's in the game. It's, you know, the game needs these kind of weird leaps of logic. Like, sometimes I suppose you need a Force leap of logic. You need someone as powerful with the Force as Sabine to throw you sometimes with the amount of logic you need, but it's fine. We can get there. We need it for game balance, right? Like, we can accept that. We've all accepted it for the most part. But now it seems like he's getting chucked out and all the other characters of the Lord Vader squad, and instead we're getting 4 clones, and that's not a bad thing. That actually makes Lord Vader somewhat more attractive on some levels. In terms of the game, I don't know. I don't know what your preferences are, but mine doesn't run toward Dark Lords of the Sith very strongly. Maul has some places to go. He can go with Maldalorians, like with Gar and etc. Which is a fun team at the very least. It has a somewhat niche use, but you can get there if you want to, or you can go with Seer Malicos. I mean, both of those teams are pretty good. It's fine. He does fine with them, honestly. Not too bad. Maul has a home. I do wonder, and this is just fleeting. I mean, I know this is the way games work, at least this sort of game. I wonder where Royal Guard and Grand Admiral Thrawn, who have been pretty regularly with Lord Vader, I wonder where they're going. I mean, CG doesn't necessarily have to do something with them. Royal Guard is one of the oldest characters out there as well. He's already a pilot, so he's got some minimal level of usefulness. He's an unlocked character, so you're going to have him at relics anyways. And Grand Admiral Thrawn has his capital ship that has been nerfed for no reason, apparently, but they were just like, hey, would you like to be arbitrarily nerfed? And he was like, he was about to say something, and they're like, oh, okay, good. And then they nerfed him, and, Thrawn just took it. He's like, okay, well, such is my fate. And now he's kind of getting nerfed again, which... he'll be back though, right? Like we'll get Galactic Legend Thrawn next probably, so I'm sure this guy will just they can create an army of blue meanies together, folks. That'll be great. That they'll or Oompa Loompas. Maybe we'll have a mixed blue meanie Oompa Loompa squad. That'll we'll have a good time then, folks. Okay, so Lord Vader also, he gets a raid, which sounds so cool, guys. Listen to what their announcement reads as. Relive the harrowing events of Order 66. Oh, wait. Let me rewind. The name of this raid is the Lord Vader Raid. Now, the final name is to be determined, but right now they're calling it the Lord Vader Raid. Okay, so that's important because Lord Vader does raid the temple. That's important. Relive the harrowing events of Order 66, where Lord Vader, alongside his elite division known as Vader's Fist, stormed the Jedi Temple. Players must race against time to attempt to rescue as many Jedi as possible from the onslaught. The most iconic scene in Episode 3, the one we were all kind of waiting for. It's like, half of the movie is Anakin still doing heroic light side stuff, right? And it's like, when does he turn to the dark side? We know he's going to. Sorry for the spoilers if you didn't know that he eventually does, but he eventually turns to the dark side. When's he going to? Like, it's this climactic moment where he does, and then he goes and just slaughters the Jedi. And whereas that's one of the reasons I haven't let my kids watch that movie yet. It's also one of the most iconic, important scenes in Star Wars. That's so awesome. We're getting a raid for that. Something I predicted. That's fine. That's cool. That seems like it works. We're coming up on the 20th, 25th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. This seems like a good time to do it. So it's awesome. Lord Vader raid. Lord Vader gets a raid. Actually, Lord Vader gets shafted. Note that while Lord Vader is the ideal leader for Darkside clone troopers, he himself will not be an allowed unit in this raid. Sorry, am I doing the robot? Do you think that offends Lord Vader? He's more machine now than man. Like, does this seem cool to you guys? Like, does it seem like something's missing? The Lord Vader raid. By the way, Lord Vader's not part of the raid. That's named after him. That's the most iconic part of Star Wars. He's there to slaughter younglings. He's there to kill Shakti while she meditates for some reason. He's there to back the clones up while they kill everyone. But in this raid that we're going to be subjected to for over a year, Lord Vader is not going to be part of it. He's a playable character in this game, guys. Like, it's not like they just haven't released him yet. It's not. It's like, look, guys, we realized Lord Vader would be cool in this raid. We called the Lord Vader raid. We called the raid Lord Vader raid because we know that he's the most important character of this scene, which is the most important scene in the movie, possibly the most important scene in the entire trilogy. We realized that, but we wanted to make a galactic legend with him, for him, and we haven't been able to yet. So we're just going to replace him with like Tarkin instead, like some other bad guy. Like, we, as a community, we should just be like, we'd be like, sure, I guess. That sucks, but that makes sense. Okay. But he's in the game, guys, as a galactic legend. Like, pre-lava burning his balls off, Lord Vader is in the game, and he's not going to be marching on the temple for the raid that's named the Lord Vader raid. Yeah, I mean, Tarkin kind of just fills in nicely, though, right? Like, by the way, if you haven't watched their announcements, that's the next part. Is Tarkin is going to get a rework, and he'll be the guy who leads the clones. So yeah, Lord Vader already has limited use in this game, anyways, guys. Like, he's okay in Rise of the Empire. He does fine there. But there's a reason people call him Lord Failure. I used to defend him, and then Bo-Katan came and just totally invalidated anything about Lord Vader at all. He's not really that good in the game right now. He kind of just sucks. He can't even ignore taunt. He can't do anything. He just very, 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 very slowly ramps up his damage, and eventually you time out against the tough things. Or if it's Rise of the Empire and you're fighting Nest on Vandor, which I realize not a lot of people have gotten to, then he takes like 15 minutes to ramp to eventually having to one-shot her, and you're penalized for having him. It would be nice if we could use this character for something else, get some extra value for him, maybe. And, I mean, on top of that, folks, I mean, so, first off, he's in the Lord Vader raid. He's not going to be part of the Lord Vader raid. He's also Lord Failure on so many levels. Not useful in PvP, really. Not that useful, anyways. But then, how are we skipping all of the stuff that we just had happen in December? Like, we have Baylan and Ahsoka and all of those toys, and they have no value. There's no, like, hey, you can use Baylan in this node in Rise of the Empire. Hey, we made this special event for this new galactic legend. No, none of those new things have any use whatsoever at all, except for, like, being good, which, I mean, that's their own value. It's its own value, but there's not, like, a reason to get them. It's like, well, they are the most expensive characters by far to unlock right now, and we're glad you wailed on them, but there's no use for them. We hope you enjoy this product. And by the way, we're going to make a new Lord Vader raid that you can't use Lord Vader in. Let's move on, folks. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me, and does it make sense to you? No, it shouldn't. I hope it somehow, if it does, you're crazy. So, no, it's just, what are they, how are we not getting Lord Vader on his own, on the Lord Vader raid? Lord Vader cannot be played in the Lord Vader raid. That's pretty cool. It's like if you named some kind of, like, game called, I don't know, maybe you make a book called I, Jedi, which is a real book. And the whole book is about, like, not Jedi at all. You'd feel a little ripped off. Maybe, you know what? There's all kinds of dumb things. Let's just move on here, folks. So let's just move all the way on. Grand Moff Tarkin, the second half of the announcement. Grand Moff Tarkin will be receiving a rework in upcoming release to bring him back into relevance. He will lead the dark side clones in the raid, as well as in general for players who don't own Lord Vader. So he's gonna go with the dark side clones. That's fine. I like old characters getting reworks. That's cool. I would prefer to get like a young Wilhuff Tarkin. That would be even cooler. But the current Tarkin is fairly worthless. So let's not just keep adding new characters when we don't have to. This old version is fine. That's fine. And honestly, I don't mind him getting a rework. I don't mind it at all. That seems like a cool additional thing. It's just at the expense of, like, I don't know. Why don't we just call it the Grand Moff Tarkin raid? Let's just call it that, shall we? The Grand Moff Tarkin raid. People won't know what it is. Like, if you advertise, they're like, hey, come play the Grand Moff Tarkin raid. They'll be like, oh, that's cool. Like, is it about something that he's done? Like, about how Governor Tarkin did things that were brutal and awful, and, you know, he earned his spot as, like, kind of the unofficial left hand of the Emperor? No, like, he's actually just literally standing in for Lord Vader while Lord Vader was, I don't know, is he just on the pot? He's just taking a dump, and Tarkin's like, I'll slaughter some younglings while you're taking a dump, Lord Vader. Vader's like, thanks, dude. Thanks, bro. Thanks for having my back, bro. I don't mind him having a rework. It's just at the expense of coolness. Like, what? Lord Vader raid with no... Okay, I don't know why I even care this much. I don't actually care that much. It's just the dumbest thing. So, and then they announced this thing called Era Battles, which I'm just inclined to think this is going to be a monumental waste of time. Era Battles are similar to Assault Battles, but for a limited time, playable during and shortly after the associated era and requiring era-obtained units. So there's gonna be something that we can use our new toys with. Hey, marquees are unlocked and we can use them in Era Battles. Cool. Will they replace Assault Battles? No, they'll live alongside Assault Battles. They're just giving us new stuff to do, and as far as we know, they're not removing stuff from the game. They're like, here, have something to play this with your new toys with, and that's cool. That, you know, be nice to have that. We talked about that in my last video, but it just seems like it's going to be more busy work. Hey, go spend some time doing this thing that you don't necessarily want to. You didn't really ask for it, but here, have some new stuff, and in exchange, we will just make you do the same amount of stuff as always, plus the new stuff. I don't know. It sounds great, folks. So, what are your thoughts? I'm going to leave you alone. Have a great weekend, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zara thinks the Lord Vader raid is dumb.